As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study Exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, our professional colleagues, students, and friends of our noble institutes, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I welcome you especially to another episode of ICAN on AIR, the great platform for learning, which is powered by our noble institute, ICAN. I'm your host for today, Tosin Akinwumi. All you know, this is the first episode in the month of September 2023. So sit back and relax and tell someone to tell another that the show has commenced and that you can be part of this show, ICAN on Air, on all social media handles of ICAN, the Facebook page, Instagram handle, and the ICAN YouTube channel. And today, Thursday, 7th September 2023, we shall be discussing another trending topic, the trending technologies for today's accountants. I say it again, trending technologies for today's accountants. And I have here with me a distinguished professional and erudite in technology, the partner, technology advisory in PricewaterhouseCoopers, Mr. Femi Madariola, who shall be dissecting the topic for today. So sit back and relax. Let me quickly go and take some commissions. I'll be back shortly with our guest on the show. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Tax from Max. Pay your tax online. That is the easiest way, yeah, to pay your tax.
Companies income tax, value added tax, tertiary education tax, pay with tax promise, for returns when due, pay your tax correctly, and get your e-tax clearance. Pay your tax online.
My better people for Obodo Nigeria, I don't bring better information come give una. To pay your tax now, it don't dey easy like ABCD. With this new Ogbonge platform where the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) don't bring come, then they call them Tax Pro Max. With this one, now for your house or office, you go just dey pay your tax. And if you want pay your tax, make you log into www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. This message now the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) they bring them for now.
Pay your tax online.
Welcome back to ICAN on Air, and I have here with me my guest in the house today, Mr. Femi Madariola. You're welcome on the show, Femi.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to also have you here in the house to discuss the topic, trending technologies for today's accountant. And who better could also discuss this topic if not a technological inclined person like you to make we the accountant understand the trending technologies so that we can actually embrace the technology. Quickly, let me make known your profile so that my viewers can actually know our guest better. And I have here the brief profile of Mr. Femi Madariola. Femi is a partner in technology advisory and innovation practice within PwC Nigeria. His innate enthusiasm for digitization, coupled with an innovative mindset, has led him to conceptualize and solve important business problems, leveraging emerging technologies within the financial services and other industries. Prior to his return to PwC, Femi spent a number of years as the head revenue assurance in one of Nigeria's leading banks, where he gained in-depth understanding of the processes in the banking industry. In over 13 years, he has led several cross-industry engagements and advised on solutions that have helped banks prevent fraud and recover revenue losses and transform their risk management practices, amongst others. Femi holds a Bachelor's of Engineering from the prestigious OAU of University and Executive Leadership Education from Stanford Graduate School of Business. The viewers at home, here is their brief profile of our guest on the show today, Mr. Femi Madariola. So you can send it your question. He's already on seat and he'll be dissecting and doing justice to the topic today, trending technologies for today's accountant. So without much ado, let's quickly go straight to questions for Mr. Femi. So conventional accounting knowledge will say is not enough for accountants to be competitive in today's world of technology, dynamics, and also VUCA, which means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Having you on the show today as our guest, we give our professional colleagues and other global viewers the opportunity to learn and share from your wealth of knowledge, skills, and experience. So within the last century alone, advancements in technology have not only been fast and supersonic, but are almost becoming scary in what you have been seeing. What do you think about this statement?
Okay, thank you very much. So thinking about it, right, I think we should not focus on the scary part. What we should focus on, right, is on the good part, the things we have been able to achieve as human beings with the use of technology, right? Imagine in the past, if we wanted to have this meeting, what would have happened was I would have needed to come down into your office. But with technology, right, we can have this meeting, we can have a virtual meeting. We could have even taken it a step further, right, and have had this meeting in the ICAN metaverse or in the ICAN-verse, where both of us, right, will have left our location and gone into a hybrid location where it's almost like we are in a world of our own. But if you need to understand what is driving this, right, there is a law called the Moore's law. But just in layman's term, right, what the law says is every few years, the pricing of processing, right, is going to get cheaper, right, and the devices that you're going to be using processing information are going to get smaller. So if you think about that law, right, in the past, all of our devices were like mainframes or big computers or stuff. But every single thing you are doing on a big computer, most of you can do on a small phone. So I think we should just get ready for the ride. It's going to get a lot more exciting. As things get cheaper in the technology space, we are going to see a lot more improvements, and we're going to see a lot more advancements, right, in technology. So please, it's going to be a long ride, and I promise you, just hang on tight. Yeah.
Okay. I can get the gist there that we shouldn't be scared, rather we should focus on the excitement and the positivity it brings along. That's a good one. Okay, let's move on. So in the past few decades, there have been so many technological advancements that have come to be generally known or described as trending technologies. Our global audience, because this program is being watched all over by members of ICAN and also by friends of the Institute. So our global audience would like to follow you to the classroom to better appreciate some of those we call trending technologies. What are they?
Okay. So I'll say a trending technology, right, is a technology that is in the present, right, and it's still going to be around for a long while to serve both businesses, right, and individuals. I think there are quite a number of them. So we started to reel out names or reel out buzzwords. But basically, right, for us in PwC, what we are looked at to say is what are the 8 most important that we feel are going to be relevant now and in the nearest future. Just listing them out, you'll see things like blockchain, you'll see things like robotics, you'll see things like artificial intelligence, you'll see things like your virtual and augmented reality, you'll see things like drones, and you see things like Internet of Things and 3D printing, right? So these are technologies that we have seen that are relevant now, right? They're emerging tech, they're relevant now, and are going to be relevant into the nearest future. I don't know if you would like me to start explaining each of them one by one, but but if you ask, there are some of them that are extremely important for us as accountants, right, or friends of accountants that we should know about, right? The basic one. So I know a number of people have heard of blockchain, right? And the first thing everybody thinks of when everybody hears of blockchain is cryptocurrency, right, or Bitcoin. That is just one use case of what blockchain is all about. So your blockchain, basically, in the simplest of terms, is just a ledger that is distributed, meaning the same information I have in one location, right? I have taken something that ensures that that information, I also have it in another location. So it's not just a direct replication, but basically there's something about it that I've taken and I've stored in different locations. What it does for you, or what it does for businesses, is that it guarantees trust. Because those informations are linked across board, it's quite difficult to come in to say I'm changing one person's information. So that's what blockchain is all about, in the simplest of terms. Artificial intelligence is something that is also important to us as accountants, because we are getting to a point where even those the things we do normally, because one of the things we do as accountants is predict the future, right? With leveraging both artificial intelligence and leveraging data analytics, accountants, you can predict the future. Your variance analysis, right, should be things that should be automatic and be driven automatically. So artificial intelligence is just leveraging computing systems to actually think or do things that human beings can do. Another one that is important, right? So last one is robotic process automation, which is just a subset of robotics, right? It's saying using a system and rules-based driven rules to actually use a system to solve things that human beings do. So RPA is extremely important. As of yesterday, I was in a meeting with the CFO of a bank, right? And one of the things the person was speaking to was saying, oh, a lot of the things we do in reconciliation, we should be able to automate it, right? That is what you use RPA for. Since it's basically rules-based, right? Then get a robot, build a small robot that can come in here, perform all those your reconciliation and settlement activities. And your accountants can actually, or your finance officers can actually focus on more critical thinking related activities. So I've listed the technologies, and those are some of the use cases for them.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I think automation of repetitive and monotonous activities, like I've also mentioned, is also what we should look into as accountants, part of our job functions. Thank you so much for that response. Moving along, now there is this phrase, technology disruption. So when we hear of it, what exactly does it mean? And using practical examples, please take us through some of the effects of technology disruption.
Okay. So if we go back to the layman thinking, right, of what this disruption is, right? So a disruption is a major activity that causes a change that is widespread, right? So if you bring in and put technology involved in front of it, and think about our businesses. So what is technology disruption in a business? So technology disruption is just the use of technology to change maybe the way we serve our customers, or the way we model our business. So in the simplest terms, that is what technology disruption is all about. And if we pick a practical example, in the past, if we wanted to shop, what will we need to do? We will go to a market, or we will go to a mall, right? However, if you want to shop right now, the first thing everybody thinks about, right, is saying, let me go on my phone and let me get to a Jumia and let me get a Konga. I'm not doing adverts for any of them, but I'm just saying, right? So what you do is you go into your devices, right, and you will say, let me shop on my devices. That is technology disruption, because why? That technology has come in to disrupt the way those businesses actually serve their customers. If you come into the banking industry, in the past, if you wanted to do a transfer, if you wanted to do a transaction, what will you have done? You will have come into a branch, you queue, you get a tally number. I can remember the adverts of a long time ago. You get a mat, right? However, if I wanted to send money to you now, Tosi, what will I do? I get on my phone and I send you money, right? And you get it immediately. And that technology, right, has come in to disrupt the way banking transactions are done. So in the layers of man's terms, right, technology disruption is just all about using technology to change the way businesses serve their customers, right? or the way they, even internally, right? The way they actually work internally. So that is what it is. And it will still keep on coming. And one of the things that are driving it, number one, I think the most important one is ability to compete. Businesses want to compete with each other, right? And one of the things that we have seen that can help in actually enabling businesses or a small business to take on a giant business in competition is technology. And we see it in the banking industry every day. Right? A small player comes on board. I was reading an article recently of the amount of transfer that Money Point are done in the first quarter of this year. If you had seen that amount of transfer that they've done in the first quarter of this year, you would have thought Money Point had been operating for the past 20 years. But when did they just start operations, right? So technology comes in and it has helped in disrupting businesses. And that's one good example of that.
Okay. So technology disruption is about change in the way
Absolutely.
Activities, operations are being done. Now, that's a good one too. I'm sure our members at home are actually following these explanations and they are already here with their questions so that we can later take them as we go ahead in this program. So the next question is also similar to what I've asked about technology disruption. So another word is digi savvy accountant. Sorry. So we get that word almost every now and then to say, are you digi savvy? I'm digi savvy. So digi savvy accountant. Who is a digi savvy accountant? And what are the benefits of being a digi savvy accountant? And what does it take actually to be a digi savvy accountant?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost, a digi savvy accountant is first an accountant. So it's first someone that knows his domain of knowledge, right? So his domain of knowledge in this case, right, is accountancy. However, to be a digi savvy accountant, one of the things we are asking of accountants is that you should not just be a number cruncher now, right? You should be a business advisor. You should be a partner to us as a business, right? And give us insight. So a digi savvy accountant is an accountant that understands the role of technology and how he can use technology to enable or to support or to partner the business in which he operates. So basically, a digi savvy accountant is somebody that can come in to let management know when you're creating a product to say, looking at the analysis, looking at the data that is out there, this product is not a product that we should be investing in, right? And the only way you can do that is by using his data analytics skills, right? A digi savvy accountant is an accountant that says, oh, every day or every week or every month, I generate a clear report, right, for my stakeholders, right? A digi savvy accountant is that accountant that knows, oh, can we put this thing on a dashboard, right, such that report is self-service. A digi savvy accountant is the person that knows, oh, I perform reconciliations every week, every month, every year, every quarter. Is there a way we can get in using robotic process automation or using any other form of automation, right, to come in to say, oh, let's automate that process. So it also leverages technology in servicing or in partnering the business in which he supports. Is that clear, Tosin?
Yes, it is. So what are the benefits of being a digi savvy?
Okay. So first and foremost, right? Okay, so going again, a digi savvy accountant first is a promoter, right, of technology in his area of expertise, right? So saying, if I were an accountant now, you employed me, the first thing I'm going to look to do is to say, how can I ensure that the people that work with me are as lazy as possible? Meaning, can we take a lot of what they do and automate it? That's one. So first is a promoter. Most importantly, is a partner to the business. So the benefit of having a digi savvy accountant is that as a business, what you'll be getting from him is going to be far more than what you get from a regular accountant. So the first one I've said is being able to do more with less in his team. The next thing is that he can provide a lot of insight to the business in which he supports using data and analytics, because he can do a lot of forecasting, he can do a lot of variance analysis and all of that. Another thing is that he can also act as a driver of change. Yeah, because if imagine you being an accountant, right, and you are a tech enthusiast, what would happen is some of the things you'll be reading. You are reading about the things that are going on in the world around you in the space of technology. So you are taking all of that message and come and preach the gospel of technology also in the business in which you operate. So these are three things that a digital-savvy accountant should be able to bring into any business in which he operates.
Perfect. Should be an agent of change. Like I think I captured that very, very well. That's a good one. Okay. Still in the light of trending technologies for today's accountant, because even yesterday's accountant want to remain relevant in the scheme of things, so that they are not taken aback in any development that has to do with accounting. So, what is digital transformation, if I may ask, and what has been its practical impact on the activities of corporate organization and economies of a nation?
Okay. So digital transformation, right, is the integration of digital, right, or technology into the business, into the way organizations actually, as I said initially, in the way organizations actually serve, right, or model their businesses. If you open an eatery now, right, if you open a restaurant or a big eatery now, right, there are two avenues. The first avenue of sales that you would have up to you, right, is to say, I am looking for the customers that are walking. That's your first avenue. But when I bring digital transformation into that business, the next avenue I can think about is, am I sure I'm not going to get a website where people can place orders, right? What has that technology I brought into my business, what has it done for me? Automatically, it has opened a new channel, a new set of customers that can talk to me as a business. That's one. The model in which I operate my business also, it has also been impacted. So we've seen that digital transformation impacts the way businesses, or the way the businesses are modeled, right? And some of the benefits in that, some of the benefits to the business, and number one is ability to actually sell to more people, or to open a lot more channels. Another thing that is also important is also customer satisfaction. Imagine every single person that has a customer in the bank, right, having to come into a bank to actually do a transfer. Think about the messy. Think about how messy it will be, right? So, but the use of digital has transformed that, right? So automatically I can sit down wherever I am, right, and I can send money to you. And what does that do? That engages me a lot more to the business. If there's a complaint that needs to be made, imagine everybody needing to come into a bank to come and make it, right? Do you know how it will be? It will just be a mess. Yeah, so basically, right, what digital transformation does first is opens a lot more channels for you. Number one, improves your customer satisfaction. Number two, in your strategy as a business, right? Another thing that it can also do for you is give you insights or data, right? Imagine you having a business where you have so much information on your customers. What do they want? When do they buy? What do they like to buy? If there's a complaint, everything is solely digitized. It's fully digitized. Do you know how much that can drive the strategy of a business? Right? You find out that the companies, a lot of companies abroad, they do your booking.com and all of that. They will never go in and create a button on their website without actually doing some form of testing, A/B testing, right? Alpha beta testing. That's part of their transformation exercise. So that's what digitization does to you. If you have a business that at the back of your mind, you know clearly that my model is clearly driven by technology, right? The impact to you is immense as a business. Efficiency also. Think about the efficiency you would also get. So I think there are lots of advantages of digitizing the way businesses actually look at themselves. Thanks.
Certainly, there are lots of advantages that just have reeled out that we could take from digitization, like you have also mentioned. Thank you so very much for that response. Okay, moving along again. As a trained computer scientist and engineer, I would like you to give us your general assessment of the adoption and application of technology as a solution driver or provider in this country, Nigeria.
Okay. So if you think about it, right, in Nigeria, right, if we look at Nigeria in the context of what is happening in Africa, right, I think we should have the largest tech ecosystem in Nigeria, if you think about Africa as a whole. And what that means is that innovation or the use of technology is something that we have adopted fully and is not alien to us in Nigeria in the corporate and private sector, right? I know there is a lot of research that also shows that Nigeria is one of the largest users, again, of social media, which is technology. I don't know if that's a good thing, if that's a bad thing, but I know there are research that has also shown that. But what this clearly states is that in adopting, there's a lot of use of it. The challenge you might face is if you see that use is concentrated in some areas or in some demographics in Nigeria. So what needs to happen is let's find a way to actually take the use of technology and ensure, right, that it permits across board. It permits across all regions and all demographics. However, I think we are doing a good job already in Nigeria compared to the rest of Africa in the use of technology. Thanks.
Okay. I think you think you are doing a good work in this country when Nigeria has been compared to the rest of the African nations. Thank you so very much. If you are just joining us on this show, ICAN on Air, this special episode where we are discussing the trending technologies for today's accountant. Our guest in the house is Mr. Femi Madariola, the partner in charge of advisory technology in PwC, and he's been answering many questions on this same topic. So quickly, we need to go on a commercial, and when we are back, we'll take your questions. Sit down and do not go away. We'll be right back.
Tax from Max. Pay your tax online. That is the easiest way, to pay your tax.
Companies income tax, value added tax, tertiary education tax, pay with tax program, for returns when due, pay your tax correctly, and get your e-tax clearance. Pay your tax online.
My better people for Obodo Nigeria, I don't bring better information come give una. To pay your tax now, it don't dey easy like ABCD. With this new Ogbonge platform where the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) don't bring come, then they call them Tax Promax. With this one, now for your house or office, you go just dey pay your tax. And if you want pay your tax, make you log into www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. This message now the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) they bring am for now.
Pay your tax online.
Security is key to national development and growth. No nation can be truly economically successful without peace and stability, or when its security is threatened. This is why we must perform our civic obligation of duly paying our taxes so as to provide the needed resources for government to secure our lives and properties. When we pay our taxes, government is provided with the needed resources to equip our security agencies for a safer Nigeria. The money we pay as taxes is used to purchase equipment and hardware, invest in intelligence and other sophisticated technology, as well as cater for the welfare of all security personnel. A secure nation is a prosperous nation. Nigeria is safer when we pay our taxes. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
Welcome back once again to ICAN on Air, your program, our program, a learning platform for all accountants, students, and friends of ICAN so that we can be up to date regarding all we need to know. And today we are discussing the topic, trending technologies for today's accountant. And like he did mention, we have in the studio today our guest, Mr. Femi Madariola, the partner, technology advisory in PwC. Let's quickly go and see some of our viewers or some of our audience who have been following our program since we started this program. So we have our Prince Olanrewaju, Omojola Bayo, Lawson Ahmed, Priscilla Ngozi, all the way from Enugu, King David is following us from Jos. Ismail Sulaiman is watching us from Birin Kebbi in Kebbi State. Emmanuel Kayode, Follow Baiwa, Victoria Adeoye is watching us from Lagos. Jacob Arinzi from Port Harcourt. Promise Uja, Lokchuku Emelife, Irim Nemeka Ikoyi, Prince Olanre Taufik Lawal, Muhammad Abiodun, Fatai, all the way from London, Kola Wale Adeshina from Lagos, Ni Olajide from Ota, Victoria Adeoye from Ijeru Ekiti in Ekiti State. You know, I can't take all of you because our time, we surely do not have that time anyway, but I recognize you because I know you are our viewers and you'll be following this program. Send in your questions. Mr. Femi is on seat to take your questions and respond as expected. Mr. Femi, let's continue with our questions. Now, the next question I have for you now is, with the prevalence of artificial intelligence, AI, like you have also defined at the start of the program. So with the prevalence of AI in the accounting industry, there are concerns about the possibility of robots replacing human accountants in the nearest future. Do you share the same or similar concern?
Tosin, I don't know if I'm back on air. It seems like
yes,
my
you're
network
back.
is
You're
back.
back.
Okay, great. Sorry. Yeah, I had to challenge my network. So the question is around artificial intelligence replacing our accountants in the future, right?
Yes.
I know in our Nigerian parlance, you say it's God forbid. I know, right? That's what we typically say, God forbid, or it's not our portion. But the truth is that the truth is this. Artificial intelligence has been found out to do some things better than human beings in some areas of expertise, right? If all we accountants continue to focus on are the activities that are not the critical thinking activities, right, or not the advisory type activities, then I think that saying might be true. However, if we play our part as business advisors, as partners to the business, then it might be quite difficult for artificial intelligence on its own to replace us. But if we focus on bookkeeping, a lot of activities on bookkeeping, on reporting, on reconciliation, variance analysis, all of those things can actually be done by a computer. And computers don't go on leave. Computers are not emotional, meaning they might not, if there's traffic outside, if their car gets hit, they're not going to bring that frustration, right? Or those emotions into the workplace that might lead to errors. So I think the impact of artificial intelligence on different professions is very real, actually. But if the mindset we have is that, how can we leverage artificial intelligence to help us do what we do better? I think that's a better mindset to have than the mindset of, hope this artificial intelligence will not take my job. If the mindset we have is augmentation, using AI to help us be better value to the businesses, then that is that's a better way to look at it as accountants, right? So please, let's start thinking about it in that way and not just thinking of replacement, yeah? Because artificial intelligence on its own,
Hello, Mr. Madariola, are you there? I think he's having a network glitch. Okay, so I think our guest is having a network glitch. Certainly, he will be back and he will continue the questions. Now, quickly, like I just mentioned, people are already asking the same question I asked. Mr. Tolulope Adedipe is already asking the question I just asked our guest today. He said, Mr. Fuado, Mr. Femi, please, do you believe AI, especially robots, can take over the roles of accountants? What can or should accountants do to stay ahead of robots in their role? That's exactly the question I just asked our guest on the show. And I think he has answered that by saying that certainly, what's it called? Certainly, robots will take over some monotonous, some repetitive tasks. However, we as accountants should also up our skills and be business advisors and be partners and all of that, so that we can be ahead of all of that. So I think our guest on the show is back on the show. So, Mr. Femi, let's continue from where you stopped.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, right, as I was saying, we need to focus, right, on us being able to leverage artificial intelligence, right, as opposed to think about it replacing us, right? There are a number of the things we do that basic artificial intelligence is going to replace. That's just the truth, right? But what artificial intelligence is also going to do is that it's going to bring up a lot more new career opportunities. That's what it's going to do for us. So please let us also, as accountants, let's think about that. And I know, so I heard a part of the question around what can we do as accountants to prepare for it. Basically, they've said, excuse me, I was reading somewhere that the professional of the future is a professional that can speak many languages, right? And the languages they were referring to wasn't just you being a polyglot, being able to speak English, French, and Spanish, right? You being able to do a lot more things. I've tweaked it, I've remixed it a bit to say professional of the future is a professional that can speak tech. Excuse me, if you cannot speak tech, at some point, you may be in a bit of trouble, right? So the professional of the future is a professional that can speak tech. So you can start from the foundational things around your data analytics, because that's the foundation of artificial intelligence and all of that. You should be able to present information. You should be able to analyze information, right? I don't expect you to become a data scientist, right? But there are models that scientists have built already that you should be able to leverage, right? You should be able to do your basic regression analysis, your recommender systems and all of that. You don't have to do it. I'm not telling you to do it as a human being. There are models that have been built, but you should be able to use those models, right? And that can help you or differentiate you in your place of work or in your place where you currently support as of now. Once you start along that journey, then you can get into the basics of robotics, RPA, right? Leveraging a bit of machine learning. And that's the journey. In that way, imagine you being able to do all these things. There is no AI that is replacing you. There is absolutely nothing that's replacing you. From this addresses the question to right?
Okay. Yes.
Because I'm not a prophet of doom.
No, you have done that exactly, and that's fine, because and that aligns with the usual saying that technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers is indeed transformational. So I think that saying aligns with your response. Thank you very much. And now we can see questions coming in from our viewers on the show. We'll come to you in a jiffy. So our next question here, considering the sweeping changes that come with the tsunami of trending technologies, what is your advice or counsel to Nigerian professional accountants or to professional accountants in general in order to remain globally competitive and relevant? I think you just spoke in that light now, but you could other expatiate since we have this question for you though.
Okay, thank you. What I would say is, first and foremost, the foundation of it is that you need to have an open mind, right? A lot of people treat anything that comes to your technology as, it's technology, or it's IT, it's just IT people, right? That is the mindset that we must not have, right? You need to know that there's a domain of knowledge within you that you know that a lot of us, a lot of other people that are out there aspired to also know. I tried to be an accountant. Unfortunately, accountancy did not agree with me. Yeah. So there's a domain of knowledge that you currently know that is extremely important. You need to keep a hold of it. That's one. The second thing is that you need to recognize that there are foundational things that you should know. E.g., as I've said, like data analytics, as an accountant, that should be an enabler that you must know. right? There shouldn't be an accountant that will say, oh, I am afraid of providing information or providing reports using visualization tools. All of your reports as an accountant should not be in Excel sheets. I know accountants love Excel sheets, right? And I'm
Yes,
not
we
saying
do.
you should not like Excel sheets.
Yes,
You
we
should
do.
love Excel sheets, right? You should love Excel sheets. However, you should love your Power BIs and Tableaus of this world also, right? Once that is done, then you can move to the next level to say, how do I forecast, right? Or how do I forecast or predict information based on the data that I have, right? Because as accountants, you sit on or you see a lot of information regularly, right? You should be one of the people that should be. It's not IT that should be giving a lot of insight in the business. You should be able to give a lot of insight because a lot of the data that you are seeing also ties back to Naira and Kobo, right? So as accountants, when you start your journey in data analytics, first thing you say is visualization. The next thing is to be able to say, let me do a bit of forecasting, right? To say, oh, what does the future predict based on this information that we currently have? Once you do that, then get into the basics of robotics. With these two things, you can never go wrong, right? So that should be that should be your starting point as accountants in Nigeria, and that will make you competitive anywhere in the world.
Oh, thank you. Like you have mentioned that with this we can never go wrong. Thank you very much. And that your response to this question has also provided insight into a question by one of our viewers, Deborah Olayemi, who is also asking a question: how can finance professionals stay ahead of trending technologies? As going with the flow seem job threatening, what tools or technologies can be taken advantage of? So I think you have just mentioned some of them now, Power BI and data analytics, and some others which you have just provided response to. Thank you, Deborah, for that question. Our guest on the show has just, like he mentioned earlier on, that he's a prophet. I think I've seen your question before now, and he has been able to put it together in his earlier response. I thank you very much, our guest. And now moving forward again. So, technologies might be good, like we all know, and like I've also explained, but sometimes they come with their ills. They come with some possibly negatives or concerns. So, are there policies on the adoption or deployment of technologies in Nigeria today? Do you have such policies that guide us on such adoption or deployment of technologies? If yes,
Okay.
let us know them.
Okay, so in terms of policies, right? I think there are a number of policies already that government is putting out. There are policies that guide the deployment of technology. I know there's a broad ICT policy around in Nigeria. That's one. The popular one, there are some other things that NITDA has also put out there, right? That guide us. And NITDA, one of its policies is that a general policy on the use of information technology, right, in the country. And the most popular one that everybody knows, right, is the NDPR, is the National Data Privacy Regulation that is also out there. So yes, in Nigeria, there are a number of policies that have been put out by government that supports the creation or the use of technology in businesses and in our everyday life. So yes, there are policies that are out there. I think the challenge most people might see might be the ambiguity, right? To say, are things clear? Are they prescriptive, right? Enough? Do users of those policies know exactly, right, what to do? But it's not like, I don't think our challenge in Nigeria is going to be ever going to be a depth of policies. There are a number of policies already that are out there.
Okay, beautiful. So, like you mentioned, we have policies to guide the deployment of those technologies in the country and all of that. Okay, so Mr. Madariola, so assuming you are invited by Mr. President today to advise him and his economic team on the adoption of trending technologies as tools for revenue generation and economic development, what would be your candid advice to him?
Okay, thank you. I think the first one would be, there was something I read somewhere that says one of the things that can get you out of poverty, right, and move us into industrialization as a country, right, is education. Yeah. And we all know that technology acts as an enabler that can flatten or act as an enabler that can flatten or reduce the difference between a big organization and a smaller organization. So in that case, I think the first policy would be, how can we ensure, right, that as part of the education, as part of the curriculum, right, that is out there today at the lower levels, is that there's technology in them. So what you want to do is to ensure that you have a lot more people that are actually using, right, or that are digitally literate. That is the most important thing first, right? Once that is done, as a government, one of the major roles of a government is to act as an enabler, right? There are policies that need to be looked at, right, in terms of tech that relate to the use of technology, right? So there are some policies that need to be looked at again, basically. Another thing that government also needs to do is invest a lot more, right? There's a need to have a lot more hubs, right, or technology hubs or incubation centers, right, where people can come in. We know where a lot of people don't have lights in their house, a lot of people don't have generators in their house. So basically, what you want to do is, if you get a hub together where there are lots of people that are coming in there with technologically driven ideas, they rub off on each other, right, and act as a catalyst to grow things that are bigger than just the ideas that one person may have, right? And I think if you start along this line, so starting first thing first is you want to ensure that there are a lot more people that are digitally literate across board. That's one. Number two is you want to ensure that there are policies. There are a lot more. There's a review of the policies that we currently have to ensure that those policies are future fit too. Number three is that you want to create your platforms that enable, right? And one of the platforms that can enable people to come together and rub minds and be able to grow things that are beyond themselves are social hubs or tech hubs, right? So once you put things like that in place as a start, right, as a government, you will notice that things will pick up, right? And lastly, as a government yourself, you need to use the technology, right? There is no point in us saying that you want to get a passport, right? And you still have to queue, right? There's no point in doing all of that. There's technology that you can leverage as a government. So government itself needs to leverage or use technology a lot more, right, in providing service to us as citizens. So I think these four things are things that if I had to sit in front of Mr. President unprepared, those are the things I'll tell you.
And I think with this, your responses to that letter will surely come very soon. That's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you very much, Mr. Femi, for the responses. Let me quickly go back to my audience and recognize them because without them, there would not be a show. There's a presenter and he's a guest, and nobody's watching, then the show is not complete. Caleb from Port Harcourt, I cite you. Funke Oliba Moyo, Karasira from Port Harcourt, Osonyibi Jacob from Liverpool in the UK, Omoba Payami from Lagos, you are recognized. Imalbong Dove, Ishiwu Emmanuel from Port Harcourt, Chinedu Lisa from Anambra, Oka in Anambra precisely, Ogunla Nonerodin Olawale all the way from Lagos, Ayokunle Newsy from Akure, Theophilus Dada from Lagos, Fatai Raji from Ikeja in Lagos, Taye Joshua from Lagos. All of you, I recognize you and we cite you. We say thank you for being part of this show today. And finally, to our guest on the show today, in closing, ICAN is always open to ideas that would positively advance the growth of our members, the accountancy profession, and the Nigerian business environment. What is your suggestion on the continuous education of ICAN members on trending technologies, especially those that relate to accounting?
I think this is a great one. What I would say is it's impressive what ICAN is doing already, right? To build the reputation of your profession locally, right, and globally. This on-air event is one way they can continuously educate people, right? I know from time to time ICAN has sessions, right? That's you bring in professionals to speak. What I think you can also do as an institution is to also partner with technology-driven knowledge centers. So, e.g., I know them used to use like NIT and all of things. So you can come in and talk to training organizations and partner with them and get some form of alliance or discounts for your members, right? Because what you are trying to do is to prepare them for being the accountants or the finance professionals of the future. So in doing that, what you can do is maybe get some form of subsidized training fees for them, and they can go in there on a regular basis, get some form of training or education in technology that is relevant. It is possible also with the organizations you partner with, especially for the younger accountants that are just coming out of school. You can do some form of internship. That can also help. But what I'll say is you are doing a good job already, but I think these few suggestions can also help to ensure that your members are ready for the future. Thank you very much, Tosin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi Madariola, for that beautiful suggestion and advice to ICAN. And I can assure you that will be taken back and to the highest possible leadership of ICAN for action. Thank you so much. And on behalf of the editorial team of this show and all our viewers, we want to say thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been wonderful having you on the show today. Thank you once again. We say thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. And to our viewers, it's a pleasure having this discussion with you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we hope that when next we call upon you, you will hack onto our call.
Definitely. I'm available.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay, yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Cheers.
Okay, so thank you very much, our viewers. And that's Mr. Femi Madariola, the partner in charge, partner of advisory technology in PwC, and has been able to respond to many of the questions we have been able to put together today on that topic. Now, let me quickly take some announcement on the show today. So we have the 18th Northern Zonal Accountant Conference coming up, tagged LAFIA 2023. And the theme of this conference is Forging a Future of Trust, Empowering New Democratic Administrations to Lead with Accountability and Transparency. The date of this conference is 18th to 21st September 2023. Just a few more days to go. And the venue of that conference is Star Conference Hotel, Lafia, Nasarawa State. This is the 18th Northern Zonal Accountant Conference. Please become a part of it. It's 40,000 naira for members. So you can go on ICAN website and see all about LAFIA 2023. Also, for the members continuing professional development training programs we have for the month of September, we have the insolvency and corporate re-engineering, and that will be a virtual program coming on between September 13th and 14th this year. It's just 20,000 naira. Please go and learn all about insolvency and corporate re-engineering. Register today so that you can quickly be part of that program. Another one also coming up in September is in the area of mining and oil and gas sector. That's coming up between September 20 and 21st. It's also a virtual program and it's just 20,000 naira. Okay, another announcement for you is, of course, is our 53rd Annual Accountant Conference, the largest gathering of chartered accountants in Nigeria. And if we say Africa, we may not be wrong. It's the 53rd AAC theme, the imperatives for inclusive development. The countdown towards the conference has begun in earnest. So register today. You have no excuse as it is. Young accountants are to be part of it. It's just 60,000 naira for you to be there, young accountants. There is an hybrid program. You can be there virtually, and that only goes for 75,000 naira. Then if you want to be in Abuja, of course, and experience it physically, of course, you also I can either be a resident participant or non-resident participant. So please hurriedly go onto ICAN website and see all about all you need to know and do and register for the 53rd AAC. Don't allow yourself to be told. Don't allow yourself to be informed about all that happens in this conference. Register. If you have any question or clarifications, of course, there are phone numbers on the flyer, display flyer, for you to call so that you can get responses to your clarifications. Thank you, Anata. Also, please, as ICAN members and friends of the Institute, we also play with you to subscribe to our ICAN YouTube channels and follow ICAN, of course, your institute, on all our social media handles, on the Facebook page, on our Instagram page, on our LinkedIn. Please go ahead and follow and connect with us on all those pages, because we are passing information for all that is happening in the Institute, and you also need to be abreast of all those information. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the show today. Will agree with me that today's program is worthwhile, very educating and instructive. And I want to thank you all for being part of this show today. Till I come your way again with another guest, another topical issue, I want to say stay safe and sound. And on behalf of the editorial team and the producers, I remain Tosin Akimomi FCA, saying thank you for watching and bye for now.